Cement surrounds you and time passes. I saw a man running and I saw the rain. I walked to the store to pass time. I bored myself at the store and I stood there for at least 4 hours. I repeated phrases and greeted each person differently, depending on the way that I felt. Wet cement is like the circus. There's not much. When I see the store and its name in the capital letters, I worry about the meaning of everything. I saw the man exit the place and go down to his car. The black tar in the parking lot was hit hard by the sun, and it wafted its goo into his nose, and he felt the feeling of the store, really. I saw him open his door and then let the rain hit his seat. I saw him sit down in the wet seat. The wet wouldn't leave his seat for a while now. It will sit and wait. He goes out to put on his shoes and forgets where he has just been. He's done this too many times. Minutes are lost in repetition. Where was I just? I am where I expect now, but why? What events led up to now? He presses numbers and smiles and drinks and says he is too excited to leave the store. The store must be the worst for others. They must find rides and take buses and walk there and spend much time in transport. On the wall, there are faces that look stern. The checkpoint is missing today, so it is easier. I mean, their faces look pleasant and unjudging, but they are not. Neither am I. Cement has always been. It is all dried. It cannot be that there ever was any wet cement, or cement that was undry, only things that are in place as they have been. His pants do not fit today. He tries another pair. Cement surrounds. Cement grows. I do not know how cement acts. You know that people can hear you like when they're thinking thoughts. You know that they are all in there. You know that they plot against you. You know maybe they just study you. I am their lab rat. You all hear what I think. Well, what I say is no surprise. I disguise what I'm writing with music, but you are still there, listening, plotting, writing, recording, telling your boss and you are not sure how to analyze this bit or that. I know you are there, but really, I'm not sure. It is just as well that you are not listening, not hearing what I think with a headset in your left ear with the right bit having a little piece that connects around to the front so that you can communicate. What each of these situations means for me or you, I'm not sure. Perhaps you have an explanation, perhaps not. You are they. You are the they. He is locked into the mode of being which there is. I am locked into that being. There is a velvet homeless who claws to the door to his house. The door is answered and there is no sign, just a card and a thank you, and a repetition of all the same that ever was. The house changed, but really it does not. All that is exciting is the change in appearance, never the content of the place. There may be something new at every moment that is non-matter. He is here and he is within the place. He is so very lucky. He presses numbers and smiles and drinks and says that he is too excited to leave the store. He makes up the usual baloney and calls the others over. There is no other mode of being. He sinks into the wet cement in the floor. The floor has squares all over. Each one is 1 foot in length and 1 foot in width, and each is speckled with spots of color, not too offensive but never too uninteresting to the uninterested passer. Each square is outlined by a thin black line that is just the flooring below, or else the glue used to hold this all together. Each works well enough figuratively. Once in a while there is a rubber rug on the floor with polka dots like a Hearst painting, except without the color, never the color. The rugs are all black, and as you lean over something, you press your foot into the ground, and the top of one of these rugs, it shifts under you and moves you. Then you kick at the rug from the opposite side every couple minutes to reset the thing. When you are doing this, be sure not to run into or hit anybody by accident. The floor goes again into the same mode it has always been. The store once had a cafe area, long ago, that was removed in favor of more space for people to buy. That area curved the walls and sat nicely, but has never been in the place. It has always been like it is. I cannot remember much of when the store was like that, only that it was. So it mustn't have ever been like that. At least not quite as I described. The place had tables and seats all around the windows, and the couches was pleasant enough, at least in theory it was, or in memory. Every once in a while I ask myself, what is a genocide? What does it mean? He again enters his car. He again. I think you get the point. Repetition is what makes us all fat. It is what gives us what we have. It is the mother who nurses us into being in existence. It is what is. There is no denial. There is no revolution. There is no progress or hunger. There is only cement and wet cement. But there is never really wet cement. And the change that is all sinks into the wet cement. There is nothing but food. There is nothing but sustenance and value for the repetitor. There is nothing outside of what we know. Everybody knows everything. There is nothing. The man running in the rain stops to see his watch, to see the name of the song, the time, and the date. He continued running, only this time the same as it was before, and around. The man never tripped. His shoes gripped the ground, and he saw just what he needed to see. He produced what he needed to, and in surplus. The man looks out at the sun rising and setting over the rectangle and infinite squares beyond it. He looks up again. He stops for a moment and catches his breath. The man runs to the store with the big metallic font out front and the welcoming doors that open as you approach them and can be seen through and analyzed at depth. He throws away his gum and enters the store. He washes his face in the company bathroom and he continues on his way. The man sees the black tar and he knows it. The sky is filled with tiny specks of color, not so bright to be offensive, but never so plain as to arouse suspicion.